Hello, YouTube. Welcome to another episode of the Instant Analysis series. This time on the new, just dropped 30 minutes ago, Party Kasu. SR, the SR for the quote unquote party set is Kimihito Kanan. The card itself is not great. It does have an interesting LSA, which is a guaranteed 6.6% stamina heal the first 8 times you use your gauge. But 6.6% of only 9,200. Now, granted, this 9,200 is pre-bond level and bond board bonuses. But if we were to just take it at face value, with it being 6.6%, you're only looking at like a 600 stamina heal for the first 8 times you use your gauge. And even if we were to let's say we round up the stam to 10, a nice even 10,000, that's only 660 stamina that you're healing. Which in some songs is less than a full note's worth of damage. So you're still gonna be running your Noble Princess Rico's if you don't have the recent Christmas Carol Ellie. Ellie is the better choice for most people, just because her stats are vastly superior. I do find it kind of interesting, though, that 4 of the cards, 3 of the URs that I can immediately think of, but even including this SR, all come in the natural attribute, right? Think about it, right? This Kimihito Kanan is in the natural attribute. You have Princess Rico, which is in the natural attribute. Now, granted, hers wasn't guaranteed, but it was a chance to proc for a percentage of her technique as a stamina heal. Then you have Fluffy White Snow Nico, which is another, SP gauge stamina heal card. And then you have the Christmas Carol Ellie. So I just find it kind of hilarious that a lot of it is kind of boiled down to only this attribute. But anyway, let's talk about Party Kasu. Okay, Party Kasu at max limit break, 13,525, 6,589, and 14,565 for the tech. Gives her roughly 59% crit rate. Tap active, standard skill activation rate, increased voltage gain of crit notes. So this is your crit power tap active. By 14 to 18% for 5 notes, only applies to other active attribute cards. Okay? Now, her passive also affects active attribute cards, giving a 6.5% appeal increase and 3.2% technique increase at max limit break for all other active cards. And finally, one of the biggest parts about this card is her live show active, which is a 50% chance on your first gauge usage, or 50% chance to activate upon gauge usage. Increase the base appeal of all cards by 5% for the rest of the live. Now, this card in particular, stats-wise, it doesn't look very imposing. Then but the thing is, that's just surface level. Okay? If we were to do something like go on Kirara and go to card search, and if we were to search UR cards in the active attribute in both the voltage and SK types. You know what? Let's add in SP types too while we're at it. Okay? So everything except guard types. And we were to sort the cards by max appeal, max base appeal, high to low, right? We see the suspects that we would expect, right? Third Fest Setsuna, Second Fest Cannon, Third Fest Rina. The out of nowhere Eye. First Fest Kanon, randomly a Nozo, Rin, Berries Nico, Firefighter Daya. Then we get all the way down here. The 10th highest base appeal card in the active attribute is actually Second Fest Maki. First Fest Setsu, Fest Lanzu. Which means now we have to go to cards 13 through 24 to try and find this Kasu, right? Autumn Rico, Rocker Kanata, Shio, and all the way down here, currently right now with the 16th highest base appeal is Kasu. It's Party Kasu. But we have to remember, right? Not every card is built the same. And just because Kasu has the 16th highest base appeal value, does that actually make her have the 16th highest base appeal, right? The one thing we're not factoring in, you know, when you're looking at something like Kirara and the stats, is the addition of bond level bonuses, bond board bonuses, passives, live show active, and if the card is a limited card or not, right? So we have to remember that with Kasu, we get a 6.5% base appeal increase. We get another 5% increase when her live show active goes off. And she has 4 insights, which means this Kasu can give you a maximum of a 19.5% appeal increase for all other active cards. That is a lot. A 20% increase to your active attribute cards. Now, think about this. If we're pairing Kasu with one of the other cards running amok right now, which, you know, and has for a while, which is Second Fest Maki, right? If we stack both of their tap actives, right? If we stack both of their tap actives, you're looking at a 33% crit power increase. In addition to, right, Maki has a 5% crit rate increase for 5 notes. So you're looking at a bare minimum of a 63% crit rate Maki plus a 64% crit rate Kasu, which every time they crit, if both Maki and Kasu's tap actives are ongoing, give them a 33% harder crit. So when we're talking about, you know, what would be something that would be, you know, best strategy type stuff for active attribute songs that aren't Chase, that aren't our upcoming February Voltage Ranking Advanced Plus song in Chase. Because Chase, if you remember, if you haven't played it yet, Chase is more forgiving if you have voltage and guard type cards versus skill type and SP type cards. So let's say, you know, let's kind of pivot, right? Let's take something like a Niji Ito Passions Advanced Plus, which debuffs non-SK type cards 50% base appeal, buffs active attribute cards with the note gimmicks in the song, and buffs Niji cards in the ACs. This would then make Second Fest Maki and Party Kasu, along with Second Fest Ellie, you're basically best in slot type, your best in slot frontline for something like Niji Ito Passions. And we know that Niji Ito Passions scores pretty well. Add something like Kasu to the mix. Adding something like Kasu to the mix now allows the super duper hyper mega whales, right? They have an opportunity now to run chokers on Niji Ito Passions Plus if they haven't done so already. Which is very, 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 very scary. Now, is it a gotta have it card? I mean, for some people, just the fact that Kasu has this live show active is going to be a pull, right? There's a reason why Party Setsu is so sought after. There's a reason why Milky Way Setsu is sought after. There's a reason why, you know, certain cards are very sought after. You know, and the ability to basically from the back line, and luckily this LSA isn't all LSA. It's not confined to active attribute cards, but having a 5% all buff that you get to proc at a 50% chance, having something like this in an active song with a very, very early appeal chance is a godsend. Now, granted, right, as we look through, right, we have a lot of very, very strong active either voltage type or skill type cards. But having this LSA is only on this card, Party Setsu, and I think it was Milky Way Setsu. No, is it Milky Way Setsu? No, it wasn't Milky Way Setsu. It was only this and Party, I think, unless I'm forgetting another card, which I probably am because my brain has been fried over the past couple weeks. Yeah, if you have enough gems to pull for it, and if you're somebody who doesn't have Second Fest Maki, this card is actually a worthwhile investment. Now, granted, it's probably not going to help you on Chase if you're thinking about voltage rankings for Chase next month. Because, like I said earlier, it kind of punishes SP and SK type cards. But, you know, this would be something that, like, you know, if I did like maybe like a couple pulls on it just to see if I could get it in a 10 roll, you know, and let's say I have 14,000 gems, right? I have over a spark, and I'm saving for, you know, the next limited Nico card, right? Or next limited Honoka card or something, right? If you want to give yourself a few shots at this Kasu, this would be one of the cards that I would kind of go after. Especially if you're weak in the active attribute, this card can help you a lot on those, you know, songs that have very, very high voltage voltage requirements. But you know, if you don't care about voltage ranking, you don't care about beating some of the harder songs, you know, you could easily pass on this and wait for an Oshi card or something. But if we ever get voltage or if we ever get to a point where this card becomes available again, not excluding next month, like let's say if it's on a specialty banner or something, and I pull this card, I would actually be very, very happy if I pulled this. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this version. This edition of Instant Analysis. And you know what? I guess. Oh, my game needs to restart. I was idle for too long, but I guess until then, we will catch you all later. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.